LALINOA koia o e homani bea mo e radio loto no kalafa e tampo kalama LALINOA e lau mo miniti bea miheni te tau whenga ke tau kolok sanga tono ai ki Isileri koia lala tau kolok sanga tono ai ki Isileri ki o mai update i whambu muita koia bea mei he tau kainga tonga koia o kunau si i lolo tonga i Isileri i he hawani bea mo e nau ngai whenga ko tau bea kunau whahoko ke nau mawahe pe me Isileri ko uhi ko tau whalota whanua o whahako Isileri.
Ai ko tōtai mini tau o heni pe mo tua lita. I lawe nge ke tunga wai koe ai kakai i Isileri tai mini.
Malo lei, whawhita ike eiki, malo e tau au sia mai au a whakakolo a koe ni. Ko tuku mua ke u whakamalu atu, i ke ake tala whatapu u whatakua pia me loto whare eikina. Ka tā mua pia mo e tā mau eiki ka koe se whaniti tala whikau aene a whio. Ai tui o loto langi ka koe au niwa i ai. Wamaro e mau whainga maari e pia me i tonga eiki. Kore ke u whapapatu ki he loto whare o i tui. Kore ke u whapapatu ki loto whare o i pare mia. Kore ke u whapapatu ki he loto whare ka utaura eiki. Whanua kai maa e whaamiri pia mo e maheni. Sola mo e vulangi kai talangata i atikita. Ke ai whainga maari e ko te mao koe tā puaki ke whakahoko atu a haongongo pia me i loto Isileri. Koe tu koe i he taimini, o ko mau fie maari e pe o ko mau malu pe, he ofa ai e. Koe takatai ki whaiwhikau ko vosa iskalu koe tā kia o e kolupu tua ka koe akape i tua pe me i Nusila, o ko tu ai ki Isilerini. Nai whai mai e mau tua o mau tu uta mai ki heni, i he aho uluaki aho ua, o e mahinani, pia ku osi e mautua i he ahoni koe aho tahaua. Au ku teurewa e mau whoke atu ki Nusila. Ka i he vaiua e mautua kua hoko patmaki. A e nipeo ku mo wakai mai ki ai e TV. A ngā mea koe neo ku hoko. Te u whamooni atu pe au ku ikai ko ha vainga keimi. Au ku ikai ko ha talanoa lau. Ka koe talanoa tonu e oni. E ai ngā mea hoko. Ai a koe nā kumo. Ka koe tuunga o ku iai ai tua o ku maa pia hao. I e hote o ku mau iai. Au kai ke mawofi ke feitu ko. O ku whai ai whakapāpo mu. E moe tau whana. Ka o ku e hotere. I loto Jerusalema o ku mau hao pe pia malua i ai ta. Koe tu koe ni o ku kanseli ai mau waka. Ai whoki ki Nusila. Ku i he ni a ki u Kaho. E ne tokoni. Kia te ki mau tolu. Ko iyo. E hata whaaki. E lava. E whaingufua. Ke mau mawahe pe e a pongi pongi. O i kai toi tolo iai. Toi uhipe koe tuunga. Ko iai. Ai tau he taimin. O ku toi whakalalahi au pito. Pea mau whawhitai pe. Koe uhi koe he ni tono a kiu. Koe whakawhainga maari e ko mau ilo koe matapaa ia. E lava lile iai. Ai ngā we. Ka koe tuunga o ku mau iai. O ku mau malu pe pea. O ku hao pe ai timi. O kai kia ia hata hai poke pe ia ta. E ka e lavea he whatamaki o koko. O ku mau hao no kotoa pe malo.
Malo apito ai ko ki fehui pe ke tafaki ko ai tunga ko ku wai ko ai kakai o ilo pe wai ri fi ko tu ko tai mini e nau tai tai ko ape kansere vaka ko ha ongo ya nau tolu po nau lotu pe mo teu pe ka tai mi ko e pe e ono po ki Kaho ke e ma o ko ha vaka ke mo finga ko ki mawahe me hena.
Iyo. Eu te talatu pe o ku whai ai ofa ki he whanau kui Nusila. Au whai ai ofa ki he sepaniti kui Nusila. Ko e waifi o ku tali pe mei api. Na e whe popo aki pe mawai kai whai e whulau mai he whonga mari mo e fia. Pea koe amana ki ke mau foki pe i he whonga tatau pe. Ko ono mo oni ko mau tangata, ko mau irifia. ka koe mau loto whakai o tua, pia mo tui o ku mau mau, o ku mau malu pe no ni malelei. Ko ia malo.
Malo pito. Ono po kiu kaho ko ki fehu e pe ko tu mini ko feinga ko ke mau ko ha waka ke whakawholawa ki ai kainga ko tonga ko me hena o kanseri mai pe. Ko tu mini ko hatunga ko feinga dai mini ono po kiu kaho.
Whakamalo atu lala ka maalip pag o kufanga pe nga i whakatapu o tuwa me kalena kai whaiatua ki o no ko wi ko mea pe gani o hoko gani isleri o ku lahe u ngahi waka o nau kanseri e nau waka kai ke puna mai pe puna ki tua ko nihi si i pe nia u kauta waka u nau ke i whai e whulawa pe au ku ringa ua ringa tolu ai totongi pe au ku yene pehe o ku whaingata ke maha waka ke whulau whakataha ai kolupu pe mawahe wahe au whai pe sio ke ngai ata ngahi whanua kau ngā api pe lava whaha whetutaka nau tolu kau kamata ke tāpuni mo ngai pota ki so tani paku sio ne taini mi mo pure anga ke te ha faunga e malava ai ke whetutoko ai kaingani ki ke wheitu o malu mo hao ka toki whaiha ta sio ha whainga ki Nusila.
Honorable Major kiu kaho waha ki foi taimi o pehe o ku pau pe tu taimini ko feinga pe hango holave o alpe taimi mo matu to lahi fo ke ka feinga ki tu me hena pe waha ki time frame lava o mai he taimini pe ko ave ke ka kai ko o ke feinga o ke ave ki tu
Malo ko ia ko o ku whai pe ai ngawe he ku kamata pe ke whalalahi a situation for one pe ku ko aho fok na pe pulau ko aho ni aho taua pe ku o fai pe feinga pure anga ke fetu to ko kainga ki torna teria na mapune nga i borders ka ku fai pe ai ke ko tantari peni ke tutoni ka pai mala au fulawa pongpong
aten ofatu ki a koe honorable major ki ukaho pe mo toinga koe ai kainga ke mo tolu kotoa mau loto atu pe me heni mau loto atu pe ke ha taimi te tau fetau laki ke ngata fetaki Nusila po fetaki i Tonga Malo apito
lala lip
Malo.
Malo. We spoke to Honorable Major Kiu Kaho and also the Pure of the tour leader over there in Israel, and you know it's a sad thing. All you can do is just pray that what they're saying is what the Honorable Major Kiu Kaho is saying. It's getting more and more difficult to get our people on the planes, and each time they try, it gets cancelled. Each time they try, it gets cancelled. So that the hope is tomorrow there's some good news, and we'll update you again tomorrow. But yeah, that's the hope.
Koe tau pukalama foki o e pompungani ko tau whenga ke tau tano hanga tonu ki Isleri ki o tau kainga tonga unau iai pa koe nau tau tano hanga tonu ka tek nau tolu tu unga unau iai unau mo uilelei pe koe kia hata hoko kia whatamaki pe lawe hata nau mama o pe pe me wheitu kou whahokai koe ai tau i he lolo tonga e wheitu kou whahokai tau i lolo tonga ai koe tuke ta miri unau i he hotere i Jerusalem
Ia i Jerusalem
nau loto Jerusalem ta mini koe hotere unau no whai pe unau mo uilelei koe mea pe unau nau ho haa ki ai koe whenga koe ke mamahe pe me Isileri
koe
koe tunga ki ai ko hanga
hawhanga wheitu upe hawhanga wheitu upe outside of Isileri
ai nau talamai ko tāpune ngahi wakapuna ngahi kautaha koe ke toangi ha waka ki Isileri me mamahe ha waka me Isileri ki ha whanua e hene tunga pehe rema he nau whamatala o ko riunga tolu mo riunga wha rema o mahu inga o folau o na fenga ko ke na mama he pe mi ai ke anga maheni o mahuinga na na tu utai ko ia ki isileri pe aku fenga ta e hanga ko na lambe wa we ke ngai maka ko ia o ahoni kan cheri ko toa e ko ide ma e na o famonu ia ke pompongi na ia hamaka pompongi e ma fenga mari e ke na mama he ai pe me isileri pe ko ke to fu meta e na tolo pe ko fe feitu de na mama he ke ai he tai mini pe ko toake pe ko Malaysia pe ko fea feitu koloa pe ke mamahe pe me isleri ko nga ko tau ko ia fa hoko ko isleri pe ko me pe o no fo hena fa kau i tai mini ko na loto pe ke ia ha fanga mari ha fonga ke na mamahe pe me isleri ko tu ko ia la kau ia i he tunga fa ofa opito e anga ko ia o eta o fanonga tu ko tau fa to ko o fa fine ko ni no ke isleri
ko kau ko kainga ko ni ripe ne ke ne ko foha ako Jessie Prema kawa konfenisi pansau ako pausa ko konfenisi ko ifanga kawa bemonunia ramen lab anti aku ki foi grupo ko fetu ngingila ko ki grupo ya kane ko foha ko ya a konfenisi pansau nene fai ne fetu takpe ai pe kene lava o ave ai kainga ko ni feto kono
na isileri ko toa
na isileri ko toa pa ko na i Malaysia tai mini afenga fetu pe outside of Isleri os kawea I safe te tai tu pe ripe wai fangi interview ko ni o klolo ia ka te tai pe fe konga pe ko te fima ko mo fanon kai lave a Jessie Prema pe ke ta faki ko na fenga ko ma vahe pa te lave pe ki lave sisi pe ke me ko ne fakahoko ke ne tanga na to ke na fakahoko I to ko pomu ko I Isleri te tai te tai mini ke fanonga I tonga ko toa I he taimini tau I heni pia mo Jessie Prema ne kau he kau alu koe ki Isleri ko ia he mo ne kau lotu fetu ngingila Jessie mausai pe
mausai pe kon na mau klupu laki mau tolu mau toko ono na mau fo mato halanga vaka ke he me he klupu ko ni ko mau tolu ko akape group
koia
mau na mau feinga mai ke hange ko lau na mahino ko ku mau katuunga au firma au ke mabahe kakai ko to pe mi Isleri kala teke ke osi mau ngahi polkala matua
koia
au le ba ke mau au ti me fonua pe mau feinga mai le ba mau feinga ke mau fo tu pai Lucila kana kai ke mau ha mau kai ke lava mau visa ki tu pai
koia
pe mau tari ai me pongpong ke fiafi mau feinga le ba me ai Malo me fanau nunia pa peka Joshua na feinga I halanga ke mau vave mau mabahe me Israel pa mau le ba ke mau transit hoa tolu me tu pai o te maha mau visa ke mau hau ki Malaysia
Jessie ko te ke pate ke ki foki pe Jessie ki he taimi ko ke kamata anga aho ko ka ha me ne mo whakahoko aho ko ia ko ne whakahoko ko ai air strike ko I Gaza pa ko ha le me ne hoko ko me ai
ko osi ko e mau papi na
ko ia
ko fa pe bai he tahi so tani ko pe hau ka aho na mau te o pe mai pe ke mau te takai pe mau na mau Jerusalem mai tai ko ia pe hoko ko foi pa ko ai pomu pa tamai ko ke mau le lo toi pe tala mai le ba me ai ko pa ke mau mava he ki mau tolu ke ku kamata scanning worsa Isleri
ko
me na fai ai feinga ko ke mau mava he pe fonua pe na kai ke ngata pe mau tolu ko fu ka kai to ko Lahi Isleri na feinga ko ke nau al mavahe me fonua lala pa mau lau ta puaki po mau mavahe mai mau tol o tui ko timi tenga ko kau Tonga ko ni I Israeli o hange te nau fenga ke nau mavahe mai pe mo nau tol hala pe ahoni ka pongpong he kuia ya akiu mau fa Malo Lahi ka kiu pe he ke pare mia Tonga pe he ke afekita ke he minister fo na fea na nau fetu ta mai ka mau tol mau ha tu mau yai mau fa Malo mau ilo Tonga mai ai Tonga ko to pe fa Malo Lahi ke kau ke tonga ko toa pe na fetu taki mai mo lotu mai pe ke ngai siasi pe ke ngai grup lotu pa pe foka mo tol tonga mo tokanga me ka ma tolu ma fa malo ko hia ko ma fa na
Koia.
Faka malo ko hia ko faki. Ki fo hako no nisi ko Joshua pa pehe ke fo hanunia ka waka pa pehe ke fana a losana na tu e fana u ke finga hame ke mau mama he mai me fonwa. Pe mau fia kon mau Malaysia o ku hene fo hanisi ni ha tari lele ki mau tori Malaysia. Mau sio ke ofa fana u no si to mai ke mau mama ko ya ko tu ngai fonua la
Poko lave ko siesi. Ko na ofenga na to atu ko ki Malaysia ripe. Ne ai he ki foha a to tahe ka u
Foha conference.
Foha conference. Ne no ki lave pe ke foha conference ka mat ki ko tu pe ke mo fanong pe hang ko puri anga. Mantu ko to taha ko ni ne ho ha ke ne fa e. Pa ne fai ne feinga pa ko feinga ko ni ne feinga pe o to ne fae mene u friends ki Malaysia
Ke tokono.
e tokono fe to ko ya ne feinga to ta pe ia mene fangi contact ke
Ona mavahe.
pa pe ke frustrated time ko ne ma interview ai mo to ta ko ni ke pure anga me ha fua ka pa ku fanongo ma ha ta me pure anga ma tu ko to ta ko ni ne ki ngo ne ki ho ha pa ka time ko ne fai feinga tu pa ke hatari mai tari fafe mari mai pa ke asi he interview ko kore pe ke o mo ita ka mo fanongo pe na ka me ke liri wa ki fonga nga
Tau wako ko
iyo
te.
ke ta wako ko to pe o ita time ko te ta e fongi interview ko ni he ko le tio ko ni te ta alu ko pe le ko pura nga na utai minu feinga i ko to nga ko ke no ma va ko me
E ko toko fango fulutupu ko
o feinga i pura anga
Pure anga.
iyo ke
No fenga ke avenge. Ka fe hunga ko ala ko ki foi toko no ko ni no osima
ne ai he ki foha ko ni
ko foha ko a conference ko ia na hanga fenga i ko toa visa ko taki ke ha o lava na mavahe na tolu osima vahe na to mi
Paka pau ke ongo ko i he neanga ne tone ko ne rea ua ki ita pau pe ke pehe ko fae fenga ku ke to mai pa ka ne ta tu ke piranga ofisi po ha pa ne ke ga tari fa fe mari pau pe ke pehe ka ku ta tu pe ke piranga o mo ita ka mo fano ko pe na mo wa ko me ai
ma tu foki ku ok mahino pe ko wai fonga nga we pure anga he te ta tu pe pe ek mai le pure anga i he time pe ko
ko fonga pe
process ya e ala nga pure anga it will take time
ko wanga pe ko tau sio ko ke fai sai take time ri pe ka pau ke tari ke nga he hala sai take time ke ta pau tari ke ai ha me he customu ko take time ko pomu ko ha fe tu ta fa ki take time ka te ta interview ko anga pe ko hanga pe ki fai ai na mo fanongo ki ai pa mo ita ta me pura anga ko anga pe ai kai foha ko ni
sai pe na ida na to ke foha na to ka
ka we no e ke fehu
na to ka ko fai nga fehu ina ke fai
ate ni ke tonga ko to Josh, since you're on the camera I know you had a lot to do with your mom and the church group to make it to Malaysia. Can you just walk through on things that you had to go through to get them out of Israel?
Sure. Look, I'm happy to give you an outside perspective of someone, obviously, whose mother and friends were trapped in Israel, right? Look, for the benefit of those who are listening who don't know me, my name is Joshua Bansal. My mother is Jessie Bansal. My dad is Sunil Bansal, right? Yes. I'm a New Zealand-born Tongan national as well, based over in Singapore. And so very much, we're well in tune with what's happening in Tonga and, of course, across, the Tongans and the other people who are in Israel for their trip. I'll be very frank in saying that the response from the embassies and the politicians, whose responsibility is for them as politicians and people in power, positions of power to help the people of Tonga who were in Israel, the response was just inadequate, to say the least. From those who I have immediate access to in terms of being able to call them, WhatsApp them, message them, from ambassadors to high consuls to other politicians, honestly, their response was very slow. It seemed like they were doing absolutely nothing. And with more than adequate enough time, they were unable to even organize visas for elderly people who were waiting in the airport to get out of the airport to the point where they actually had to miss their flights. And the only response that they actually got or gave was nothing. And a very clean example of that is, even though, I'll name them specifically within the UAE, the Tongan embassy within the UAE, they did not do the due process properly. To apply for visas and expedite them, they have to put visas into the system within the UAE immigration office and then write directly to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs within the UAE saying, look, this is an emergency situation. Here are the Tongan nationals affected who require visas immediately. What I found out afterwards was that they had written a letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but they had not actually lodged any applications for visas. And so that letter actually meant absolutely nothing.
That's crazy.
And the fact that an embassy is making that mistake in such a critical time where people's lives are in danger is honestly a pathetic response. And so it really questions, why are these people in these positions? What is the point of an embassy if in the time of a crisis they aren't able to do anything with that power that's been given to them in a position of privilege, right? And so whether that addresses whether or not they should even have that position of privilege, or even this is a systematic issue, which of course we know fundamentally is across all government institutions within Tonga, to be frank. It really questions, if this is what happens in a position of emergency, what happens if we didn't get people, these people out soon enough? What happens if, in a moment, it only takes 1 second for a stray missile,
That's crazy. Yeah, that's
a stray
true.
terrorist attack, for all these lives to be lost? We don't want to be met with, kosai pea, tau fai pea, whatever, right? We don't want that kind of response. We want people who are in these positions of power and privilege to actually make use of that power and privilege, right? It's not that hard to walk down to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs office and say, look, this is the emergency we're in. Yeah. We have this people within Tonga who are nationals. The list that we're able to get from the Israel embassy, this is all due process, right? We require visas to be expedited. The fact that they weren't able to do that one job that they are meant to be doing, honestly, there's no other word to say other than pathetic.
Josh, I have a question for you right now. Was there any help? Was there any help from the Tongan government towards getting your mom and the prayer group out of Israel?
Not a single piece
Tongan citizens we're talking about.
Yeah, not a single piece of help. Even in the New Zealand Herald, I saw this morning that they were quoting that several people have said that the Tongan government will do it at their cost. I'll tell you, just for these 6 women alone, to get them out of the country, I just spend over 25,000 New Zealand dollars to book flights for them, organize their visas, and make sure that they got here safely. And I'm able to do that from a position of privilege. Imagine all of the Tongan citizens who do not have that privilege to be able to do that, right? There wasn't a single bit of help from anyone within the Tongan government. And that is the frank truth, right? So it's honestly, what is the point of having these institutions? What is the point of creating, these government relations? Why do they spend all this time traveling and having meetings if it means absolutely nothing at the end of the day when it matters, right? So to answer your question, zero help.
Zero help.
Look, the most important thing at this point in time is to make sure that everyone who's affected and in an unsafe position gets home safely. That's the most important thing.
That's the most important thing.
But once that happens, honestly, very much something has to change from here on, because what happens next time, right? That what happens if they don't move fast enough? We don't want to be in the position where this is just going to happen again and again and again. Right?
That's so true.
So once everyone is safe, healthy, alive, and back home and with their families, something has to change here, right? And whether that's speaking about it more candidly, like I am now, which I'm happy to do so.
I'm glad you did.
Look, just purely, just as a side note for context, out of what I'm doing in Singapore, which, was within the environmental space, I'm privileged to be able to have some political connections across the region, right? So, of course, I've tried to reach out to anyone I know in terms of ambassadors, embassies, other foreign diplomats within the Middle Eastern region for help. So by all means, I'm trying to do as much as possible. And I'm not asking for a reward. I'm not asking for a pat on the back. All I'm asking is, where are the people who are meant to be doing that instead of me, right? If I wasn't there, what's going to be happening, right?
So true.
So it's not looking for a reward or praise. It's just trying to say, people who are meant to be doing this,
so true.
Come on, do something about it.
I'm so happy I got a chance to talk to you. I'm so glad and happy that the ladies are safe. And let's pray for the rest to be able to make it safe, like the 6 ladies that's there with you.
100%. So just prayers and hope that everyone else who's still there gets out safely and as soon as possible.
And that's my interview with Josh Bansal, who insured his mom and the 5 other ladies. They were stranded. They was there with the Holy Tour, in Israel was out. And like I said before, I played you that one. Remember, we went through Jessie's interview. We went through to Honorable Major Kaho and his efforts with government towards getting the 40 odd other Tongan citizens out of Israel. And we just ended with somebody who's the only 6. Mind you, the only 6 that's out of Israel was done by one of the lady's sons. But he has a point. You know, it's something that we all need to realize and something that we all need to talk about. Hey, Ribe.
Lere yo pito interview na ke fa ko la pe ku o mai ai to
Ai ko tu ta mini ke ita na to ke Josh ita na to ke tama e ke fehui.
Ko no lo tama mai ke tama e ke fehui pa na fehui na ke o ku hoko ko to ngai me ko ni ke tau improve ke tau wa ko pe me ai.
That's all. It's nothing wrong.
Ngai me ko ni fe ma ka fa ton ton. Ave me ko.
That's all it is.
Ko ngau to ton ke tau fai he pure anga ta mini tau fa pa pau tau fa tongia tau fa pa pau ha ke ko to ko fango fruto pu ko isleri tau fa pa pau mu a te tau fai ha ngau he ma me ta ha ave ki na to lang ke fa ko ia
honorable major
Q ko tonga fa ko ia I isleri he ta mini ke no fenga ke o mai tonga ko ia o ka
ko ia ke ai fo pure anga o fa ko pe pure anga la ngau ma ki ta fa ko ni ne ki to mui ka pau pe ka pa ko fo hakita o ke fenga tu ke pure anga pa ko ke ha respond mai pa ko ke ha tari fa ma ke ta ita
pa ke ta hanga ta to lo fa fa la ki a Josh pe mo yo ne fa ko ka pa hoko pe ka te au hoko pe me ta ka te au ko pa ko fine iki ko fa pa pom ko ni isleri
pa ke fai ke fenga tu ke pure anga ko
te wongo I te wongo I pe e tu nga ko te fine iki wi ai pe te fai me aka toa I to ivi pa to Malo hi ke o mai te fine iki pe me isleri ko hanga I ne
tu ta mini tau lotu ke ngau fa hoko ko he honorable major Kaho pe me pure anga ko tau lotu ko tai mini han ko lave mai ko pe ko me mai ko honorable major Kaho ko pompong im no feinga ko ke havaka ata ke o mai ke tau ka inga ko me pe fai ko lotu pe o lava le feinga pure anga ta faki ko ia
ko whakaamui pe mo e tau pōkalama ko I pomponi ma whenga mau pe molala ke update e tau pōkalama ko ngā ko kakai ko whanua I tongani mo tau pure anga no whanonga mai ki he tau pōkalama whakatawange pe
international o tamata LALINOA honi
lala o futika ta LALINOA
ko ta LALINOA ko ki mua nei ke lava o text mai hata pa LALINOA ko ne toko osi ki lava tā mai ta tai mini o tata tawa ki Israel